Hello everyone. So in our previous session, we discussed about virtualization, hypervisor, benefit of virtualization. Okay, we have discussed about different type of hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor, type 2 hypervisor, and which one is beneficial in which environment. So today we are going to start about virtualization and containerization. I think you know everyone about the virtualization. New topic is coming here, that is the containerization. Just have a fast review for the virtualization. You know well, run virtual machine, multiple virtual machine on a single physical server using the hypervisor. Keep in mind, each VM, each virtual machine has its own operating system. Now, what is this containerization? Here is the virtual machine. Here, run multiple container on a shared operating system kernel. In this, every virtual machine has its own operating system, but container on a shared kernel using container engine. Keep in word. Have the Here was the hypervisor. Here is the container engine on a shared operating system kernel, but in virtualization, each virtual machine have its own operating system. So if I repeat again, for the containerization, run multiple container on a shared kernel using container engine. For example, Docker. Container pack the application and its dependency only. Remain everything is on the base operating system that work on the hardware. Got the point? So virtualization and containerization are the distinct technology for running software. Got it? Virtualization creating virtual machines that have own operating system, while containerization use a lightweight, isolated environment that are shared to the host operating system. Yeah. So virtualization offers strong isolation and compatibility for legacy application, while containerization are more efficient and faster to start, making it suitable for microservices or cloud native application. It's basically for the microservices or any cloud native applications. To have a closer look here, if we talk about the unit of deployment, where we deploy it in virtualization, VMware, or in a container in containerization. If we talk about the operating system, each we have its full operating system. Means full operating system takes some time to start and put more load on your base hardware. or a base operating system. Share OS kernel. So startup time is little slow as compared to containerization. Containerization is more advanced. Everything cannot be done with the containerization. It's still under progress. Virtualization at the very higher. Size is very heavy always because it requires a complete operating system on that application is deployed. This is basically for the application deployment. You cannot say it can give a complete virtualized machine environment. It is only for the application. Keep in mind. So very lightweight in MBs. So naturally, if it have a complete operating system, slightly slow due to the full overhead, full operating system overhead, less overhead. So compared to it, faster. Got the point? Virtualization is for complete server virtualization. Means create a complete virtual machine having its operating system. Then we deploy. Then we deploy any of the application there. But in containerization, it does not have a complete operating system. So very light and much faster as compared to virtualization. But where we require the complete server, complete infrastructure, we cannot say containerization okay. No. For the if somebody asking about IaaS, in that case containerization will not work. For SaaS, okay. If anybody has infrastructure as service, then we cannot use containerization. Containerization always preferred for application deployment only. Means can SaaS or some cases PaaS. I hope you all still remember about the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Clear concept? So this is the containerization for application deployment and faster performance. Virtualization is different for infrastructure as a service where we need IaaS or PaaS also. Containerization is coming maximum for the application virtualization. How clear? Concept is in the mind, I think, right now. So this is the use cases. It will make you more clear. Virtualization prefer multiple OS type. In one machine, we require Microsoft Linux and where one require Windows. Then we require the virtualization. Legacy application support. Strong installation we require for virtual machines. One can be the web server, one can be the email server. In that case, we prefer the virtualization. But containerization is for the microservice architecture, CI/CD pipeline, cloud native deployment, and orchestration. We will discuss this orchestration in few moments or in next video, like Kubernetes. This is the engine, container engine. In case of virtualization, intermediate is the hypervisor. Here is the Kubernetes, the type 1 and type 2. Clear? Hope containerization very is clear to you. So What about the tools and examples? Virtualization, I have told you, VMware, VirtualBox, Hyper-V. Here is the Docker, Podman, Container Kubernetes, and Docker Swarm. This all was the virtualization tools. And these are the, keep in mind this thing. Containerization tool is this one. If you watch the previous video carefully, then you must remember VMware, VirtualBox, Hyper-V, then vSphere we discussed there. Here you have to keep in mind when we talk about the containerization is a Docker, Podman, Container Kubernetes, and Docker Swarm. More clear to you. In VMware, it happens like this. Infrastructure, then any hypervisor, either type 1 or either type 2. But here we have taken the example of type 1, bare metal. Directly on the infrastructure, we put the hypervisor, on that we create virtual machines. We create virtual machines. Then inside that, depending on the application, can be different beans and libraries. I think everybody should know about beans and libraries. Every application has some dependencies. As you all are from the IT background, or just pursuing the IT courses, so you must be familiar. Every application has some dependencies and has some libraries. On the basis of that, we can deploy different applications. This is a scenario of virtualization. Clear scenario? But opposite to that, in case of containerization, everything is like infrastructure operating system. Everybody know about this? On that, rather than hypervisor that we're discussing, if we compare here like this, we install any container engine here. We install any container engine there, then bins and libraries, and then we can install application. Do you say what happened if one application goes down because it has share engine or operating system? No issue. Other container keep working until unless this base operating system does not goes down. Some of the infrastructure does not come. If infrastructure problem come here, then can be the problem. Okay, na? Infrastructure that should work perfectly. But from this diagram, everything should be clear to you. Hope clear? Got the concept of containers? So what we discussed earlier, we have discussed the basic concept of containerization and virtualization. Then we discussed about what is the basic difference between virtualization and containerization, different architecture, what is the unit of deployment, what is this called, everything, operating system requirements, startup time, size, performance we discussed. What are the use cases where we prefer the virtualization and where we prefer the containerization. Then I told you about the VMware VirtualBox and Docker Podman container. Keep it in mind these words: Kubernetes, Docker Swarm. You can any of the containerization Okay, that depend on your comfortability. You can be expert in Docker, you can be expert in Podman. Maximum preferred is Kubernetes and Docker nowadays. Then with this diagram, everything should be you. Means this container engine you can prefer according to your requirement. Either you can use Docker or you can Kubernetes or Podman. You should be expert in anyone. I think we have discussed everything about the containerization now, and your mind, everything should be clear. So, hope you learn about the containerization. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.